Hello, and welcome to today's NinjaTrader ecosystem event, Day Trading with Liquidity Zones. My name is Patrick Hodges, and I'm the NinjaTrader Ecosystem Vendor Relations Manager. Before we start the webinar here today, I have a few housekeeping notes. Secondly, this webinar is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be directed towards the NinjaTrader brokerage, using the phone number or email that you see on the screen. If you are new to NinjaTrader, please make sure to sign up for a free NinjaTrader account, which includes access to 14 days of complimentary real-time market data. Our platform is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade simulation. You can create your free account by following the link on the screen and then clicking the Get Started under the Welcome section. Before I turn the mic over to Daniel here, it's important to understand that futures, foreign currency, and options trading contain substantial risk and is not suitable for every investor. It is possible to lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Also, please remember that these training sessions are not a solicitation nor a recommendation, but they are simply educational in nature. So thanks again for joining us today. And without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader room, Daniel.
Thanks, Patrick. Hey, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation, also from my side. I am greeting you from our beautiful office here in downtown Montreal in Canada. And if you guys want to share with me, where are you calling in from? Please go ahead and put it into the chat. So I'm calling in from Montreal. Let's see, who do we have in the room? I do see a full house. And I'm super excited to be here today. So we have Florida, Chicago, Brisbane, Australia, wow, Colorado, Reno, nice, Jacksonville, Florida, Ohio, Jim from San Antonio, Texas, New Hampshire, Dallas, New Jersey. Oh my God, Montreal. Oh, Kenny, hi. West Island, nice. New Jersey, Denver. Wow, awesome. Great guys. A truly international audience today. Super great. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you and then let's get started. So please let me know if you can see my screen and today's topic, which is day trading with liquidity zones. All right, so my name is Daniel Sinnig. Oh, looks good, perfect. So everybody can see the screen. My name is Daniel Sinnig, and I'm a managing partner of tradingindicators.com. And what I'm going to show you today has been in the working for the last 2 days in our research lab. And we just unveiled this product recently, and the impact it has made to our trading, to our day trading, has been quite remarkable. And I'm so glad to be able to share this with you today. All right, so before we get started, also from my side, a quick reminder that trading does contain substantial risk and is therefore not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, that is capital that you can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or anything based on historical data, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance. All right, so now that this is out of the way, let me introduce myself properly. So as I said before, my name is Daniel Sinnig, and my career path is perhaps a bit different from those of the presenters that you have heard here at this NinjaTrader forum before. I'm actually a software engineer by training, and for the longest time in my life, in my career, I was on a career objective or trajectory to become a university professor. So I went through all the levels. I did my master's, my PhD, a postdoc, was teaching at various universities around Montreal with the objective of becoming a full-time professor. But you know what? At the same time, I was also, infected by the trading bug. So I decided to trade on the side. As you start out, as many beginner traders, you make a lot of mistakes. You overtrade, you revenge trade, you take too much risk, you trade when market conditions are not favorable. And so did I. And after donating quite a bit of money to the markets, I came to the hard realization, oh man, trading is hard and I need help. And for me, as a software engineer, needing help meant I need better tools, better indicators, which will help me make better trading decisions. So I started coding. I rolled up my sleeves, I started coding, and the first tools I've written, they were only for my own trading. And then I realized, if I find these tools useful, if I can take advantage of these tools, perhaps others can do too. And this is really how the story behind trading indicators, our online store, started. So most of the tools that you can find there at tradingindicators.com have been primarily written for our own trading. And only once we vetted them, we found them useful for our own trading, we have pushed them out to the online store. All right, so this is how my career started. But you know what? We are not a sole operation. We actually have a full team, and you can see two of our key team members, which is Homer, my partner in crime. She's been doing business with me at various levels for the last 20 years. And she'll be in the chat today if you want to say hello to Homer. We also have Nicholas. He's also in the chat today. He is our new lead developer, and he's responsible for creating many of the tools that we have built for our online store. Just to let you know that, we've been out there now for quite a while. And over the years, the many years, we have built over 750 different trading indicators, trading tools, fully automated strategies, trading scanners, and so forth. And there are a couple of things that we at Trading Indicators believe in. And one thing is that we do believe in technical analysis. We believe that everything fundamental, because of the efficiency of today's markets, is always going to be priced in and therefore implicitly available in the price chart. As a result, by analyzing your price chart, you will indirectly also take into account fundamental data. It doesn't mean that we don't look at fundamentals at all. For example, if there's a big news event or earnings report coming out, we may stay at the sidelines and avoid trading in these very volatile hours or minutes just to limit our risk. But besides this, we believe in technical analysis. We also believe that trading should be simple, and trading is simple if you know what to look for. But of course, this is the million-dollar question. What should we look for? What are the important things in trading? And you know what? What I'm going to show you today is an indicator which will show you directly on the chart what are the important levels to consider. And you can see that these are actually very useful when it comes to day trading in particular. We also believe in teamwork, not just at tradingindicators.com, but also with our trading community. We've built a rich and very interactive trading community over the years, and we help each other out. We receive a lot of feedback from our members, and vice versa. We use that feedback to further improve our tools. It's a give and take. And together, as a team with our community, we constantly trying to improve our tools and indicators that are out there. And last but not least, we're super excited to be on this journey together with you guys, our members. All right, enough about us. Let's see what we have planned today. And you know what? We started off a couple of years ago with a fundamental idea. And the idea was that every chart, the 5-minute chart, the 1-minute chart, the daily chart, every chart has landmarks. And if you're able to spot these landmarks, I'm going to expand on this in a second. If you're able to spot these landmarks, you can estimate to which of these landmarks price will be attracted to, drawn to. Once you know this, once you're able to do this, you can create your trade setups. All right, so this was the fundamental idea. But of course now, how do we know what these landmarks are? Well, it is not easy, I tell you that, because chart typically are quite unpredictable. Look at this chart here. Imagine you're here in point in time at this level here. Price has been moving upwards for a while, setting higher lows and higher highs. And you may think, if you're here in point of time here, that price is going to continue further upwards. But as so often, no, price will not do this. In fact, it will move downwards instead. And then you're in a downtrend, which then suddenly again reverses to an uptrend. So seemingly, price action and charts are unpredictable. And this is particularly true when you consider these smaller time frames. At the 5-minute chart, look at this, how erratic this looks like. And it is very hard to make sense of it. Even if you're a day trader, looking at a chart like this, it is basically impossible to tell what is going to happen next. It's very erratic. But you know what? Once you zoom out, once you increase your time frame, let's go to the let's say to the 4-hour chart, things will become a bit clearer. And please keep this in mind, because one of the fundamental features of what I'm going to show you is based on this phenomena, that once you zoom out the time frame, things tend to become a bit clearer. We're going to use this to our advantage. All right, so moving on. Now, I mentioned before that every chart has landmarks, and these landmarks can be created in various ways. For example, one landmark could be created by a price making an all-time high, like a historical high. You can see it here. This could be a landmark. A landmark could also be created by price making multiple bottoms or lower pivot points. One here, another one here. So these landmarks can be created in various ways, but they have one thing in common. They are attracting price, meaning price will revisit these previously created landmarks in the future. Okay, this historical high will then be revisited later on in the future. Same for these this landmark here, which was created by these multiple lows. It is revisited in the future. And this is one fundamental idea of what I'm going to show you. Let's expand a bit more on this concept of landmarks, because these landmarks are not magically just appearing at certain price levels. In fact, these landmarks represent what traders typically call support if they're at the lower end, or resistance if they are at the higher end. Now, why are these areas there? Why are these zones there? Well, from a fundamental point of view, they are created by excess supply. Sorry. So excess supply means that there's more supply than demand, which will prevent price from moving higher. And we call this typically resistance. And vice versa, if there is excess demand, this will, more demand than supply, this will prevent price from moving lower, and we create a support level. Now, how do we get this excess supply and demand? Well, this is where the big players come in. The big orders are coming in at these levels. For example, at the support level here, we can observe by looking at volume and the price chart that these are the levels where big money buy orders are stepping in. Block orders are stepping in here, preventing price from moving further. Same for the upside. At the resistance levels, big block sell orders are coming in at these pivot points, preventing price once again from moving further high. Instead, price will drop. Now, who is responsible for these big block orders? What do you think? Well, it's the culprits, the big players out there, the institutions, the whales. They are capable of creating these big orders which price cannot, which makes price turn, in fact. Now, so these big culprits will be calling the shots. They are responsible for creating these levels. But what we can do as retail traders, we can recognize these levels and follow the patterns and create trades around that. We know these levels exist. We can create them, but we can create trades that are based on these levels. And this is what this presentation is all about. Now, when these big turning points in the market, these swing points, which I've shown you, if they are combined with exceptionally high volume, these are typically called liquidity zones. And this is where the title of this presentation comes from: Day Trading with Liquidity Zones. All right. Now, why liquidity zones? Because these are levels where the big players can get their big orders filled. There's enough liquidity there for these orders to be filled. This is why these big players are waiting for price to go to these levels where there's a lot of liquidity to get their levels filled. And once we know where these liquidity zones are, we can observe one thing, that price is magnetically drawn to these zones. Let me give you an example. If you look at this chart here, let's say we are able to identify these liquidity zones above price, resistance zones, or below price, support zones. We can often observe something like this, that price will approach these levels magnetically and then retrace from them, because that's resistance, downwards to the support zone. It's magnetically drawn to the next zone, then up again, then down again, then up again, and so forth. And this is one important property of these liquidity zones. and we can formulate trades around that. Now, the million-dollar question is, however, how can we spot these zones? And we asked ourselves the exact same questions. And what we've done is we have created an indicator called Liquidity IQ, which is able to spot those zones automatically for you on the price chart. So if you don't mind, let me introduce this indicator to you. So introducing Liquidity IQ. So this indicator is the first thing that I and my team applies to the price chart. Everything we trade. This is the first indicator to be applied. And we call this the AI-based charting assistant because it will use sophisticated logic to analyze the chart and point out these important levels to the upside and downsides, along with important events directly on the price chart, right when it's applied. So you don't have to worry about this. And technical analysis typically starts with identifying these support and resistance zones. Now, this indicator will do it all for you. And it does this alongside with other noteworthy items to be pointed out on the chart, such as zone breaks or liquidity captures, two advanced concepts, which I will expand a bit later on today. Now, enough talking. Let me switch over to my NinjaTrader, shall I? And let's see how this indicator looks on the NinjaTrader platform. So switching over to Ninja. And this is a chart of ZN on the 5-minute time frame. And the first thing I'm going to show to you, and we have the indicator already applied here, is the importance of knowing where these levels are. And just pay attention a little bit to these greenish lines on top and these reddish lines at the bottom. Let me just scroll a little bit. And you can see that price, every once in a while jumps up to these levels. Here's an example of it, and then retraces from it. Here again, price went down to it and retraced. Here again, price went down to it and retraced. Sometimes it breaks it. This, of course, will happen. Here, price once again went towards the level and retraced. And we can see this over and over again. Sometimes zones are broken. This is normal. This is part of the process. But if I zoom through this, you can see that these levels, they tend to hold up quite often. And this is exactly one of the fundamental concepts behind this indicator, because price oftentimes respects those levels. Now, what I'm going to show you in this presentation is how we can, once we know where these levels are, how we can place trades based on these levels. All right, so this is one example, but let's become a bit more concrete. So I'm going to switch over to a chart of CL, crude oil futures. Before I dig into it, let me just tell you real quick that I'm going to show a lot of futures examples on the day trading timeframes today, because the topic is day trading with liquidity zones. But this indicator will work with any asset class, not just futures. It works with with stocks, FX, with indices, with cryptos, no problem. And it will also work on every time frame and chart type. So we're not restricted to, let's say, the 5-minute time frame on the futures. It will work with all these levels. Okay, so here we have Liquidity IQ applied to the chart. Let's just focus on the most recent price action here. What do we see? Well, first of all, we see these, these reddish zones here and these greenish zones to the right of price. These are the nearby support and resistance zones that Liquidity IQ has identified. The nearest ones. Yeah? Further low, you see some additional zones. For example, this one here. This is also a support zone, but it is further away. This is why this is not flagged out here. So these rectangles, these zones, indicate the nearest support and the nearest resistant zones. All right, so this is what the indicator does right off the bat when it's applied to the chart. And one important thing to point out, all these levels, they are printed in real time. There's no repainting going on whatsoever. And this is very important to understand. So as soon as this line prints from this bar on, it's going to stay on the chart forever. This is not printed retroactively. All right, now this brings me to the next very important feature of this indicator. So here we have the 5-minute time frame. And these levels are calculated by what we call a multi-time frame analysis. Multi-time frame analysis means that if the indicator is applied to the 5-minute time frame, the indicator will actually consider the 50-minute, 30-minute, hourly, and 2-hourly time frames to come up with these levels. So we have some logic implemented for this, depending on what the chart time frame is. But we pushed this one step further. We gave the indicator the capability to pretend to be on a different time frame other than the 5-minute time frame. Because sometimes, you want to zoom out a little bit further. Things become clearer on the higher time frames. I mentioned this before. On the smaller ones, things tend to be a bit erratic and hard to interpret, and the zones seem to be a little less strong. So, but if you zoom out further, if you go to a higher time frame, zones and levels seem to be a bit more stable. So let's do this. So I'm going to go to the settings of the indicator by right-clicking on the chart, go to indicators, and I will then pick it up here as my indicator, and I will now change the reference time frame for the indicator from being the chart time frame to, let's say, the 30-minute time frame. And as soon as I click OK, the indicator will then perform the multi-time frame analysis with the M30 time frame as the starting point. So we consider the 30-minute, hourly, 2-hourly, 4-hourly, and perhaps daily time frame to come up with these levels. So I click OK and observe what happens. Levels are now recalculated, and as you can see here, they're further away. They are at different levels than before. And this is because Liquidity IQ chooses the 30-minute time frame, even though it is applied to the 5-minute time frame. And I think this is a very important feature because it allows you to see everything, it allows you to time your entries on the lower time frame while seeing those levels as they were calculated on the higher time frame. So it's an important feature of this tool. Now, moving on. So we see these levels here. We see our nearest support and resistance levels, but they're small. So let me go back to the settings and enable something that we call mentor mode. So back to the settings, I'm going to click on mentor mode here, the setting. I click OK. And once done and recalculated, we can now see that the indicator has actually annotated my chart with noteworthy items to be pointed out. And this is specific, particularly useful for traders who are just getting started with this indicator, because these levels can be confusing at times, but now we have these labels here which clearly show what these levels and signs on the chart are all about. So here we have our support zone. This is CL, ranging from 76.61 to 76.57. Here we are resistance zone from 78.47 to 78.51. Yeah, and if I scroll through this chart here, we see other noteworthy items, such as a zone break, for example. Look at this one here. Here, our support zone was broken and price then followed through downwards because we had this zone break. And you know what? Once support is broken, and you probably have heard that before, what happens when support is broken? It becomes resistance. And look what happened here. We had the zone break. Yeah, price retraced then back up towards this now acting as resistance. Yeah. Eventually this resistance is broken again and price goes in the middle of these two zones. All right, so this is for CL. Let me switch some time frames, and I do see some requests for charts. So let's go to NQ. I'm going to come back to this chart in a second. All right, so going to futures and let's open up NQ. All right, so with the same configuration, we can see that NQ is trading, and a very nice example here, is trading very near this resistance zone. And see what's happening. Again, this is the 5-minute time frame. It has a hard time powering through. Why? Because it's resistance. Yeah, you could have predicted this just by seeing the zone. So when price was moving up, this could have been, if you were in the long trade, a good point to book profits because you were approaching a resistance zone. Let me change time frame again. Symbol again. Let's go to ES. Futures. Let's go to the S&P 500 futures. All right, yes. Here, we are actually trading above this resistance zone, so it was broken. And then once resistance broken, it acts as support. So price went up, it retraced, to right into this now zone which acts as support because resistance was broken. and price bounced off again to the upside. Let's change it again. Let's go to 6. Let's go to our currency contracts. Let's say 6B. Great example here. One of my favorite setups. Look what happened here. Here we had a zone break as indicated by the signal here. This resistance zone was broken. And once again, if resistance is broken, it will act as support. And see what happened here. We broke through, price retraced. Where did it retrace to? Right to this zone. It went up again, it retraced right to this zone and then up again. See what the power of these levels are? So there's a lot of stuff that can be done just by knowing where these levels are. And one interesting trade that we teach to our members is the breakout retrace trade, where price breaks out of a zone. We wait for the rate trace towards the broken level and then enter in the direction of the breakout. As you can see, you can do this multiple times. This is the breakout retrace trade. All right. Now, let me go back to my original CL contract before we're going to look at some other symbols. So back to CL. All right, because there's one interesting trade which I would like to point out. So here we can see that price is, in this case, pretty much right down the center between support and resistance. This is the 5-minute time frame. Now, if this setup happens, we call this the magnet zone setup, because price is right in the middle. And now our theory says, since we know where the support and resistance zones are, our theory says the price will go either to the support zone or to the resistance zone. That's a fact. That's quite logical to everyone. Now, the million-dollar question is, to which zone will it go first? Will it go first towards the resistance zone or towards the support zone? Now, for this, we recommend what we call a short-term momentum analysis. What is the current momentum pointing to? And right here, it may seem somewhat obvious, but oftentimes it is not so clear what the momentum is pointing to. Is it rather bullish or rather bearish? Well, we have developed an indicator which will do exactly that. It will show you where the current momentum is pointing to. So let me apply this indicator, which is called MA Rush. So I'm going to go back to my settings, to trading indicators. This is where all our indicators can be found. And we're going to go to MA Rush, our momentum indicator, and apply it to the chart. All right. Okay, perfect. Now, I said in this case, it was somewhat obvious where the momentum, the overall momentum was pointing to, because we had this upswing here in price. Sometimes it's not that obvious. But what we can do now here is to look at what is MA Rush telling us. You can see all these greenish shaded areas, which means that this momentum currently is rather bullish. Also, the indicator printed already down here that we are turning bullish again. And look at this follow through. All right, but back to my question: to which zone, support or resistance, is price likely to turn next? And the answer lies in what MA Rush tells us. MA Rush tells us we are currently bullish. And because of that, we are going to make the prediction that price will first visit the resistance zone before perhaps retracing. And you can formulate a trade around that. It's actually quite simple. Price is right down, smack the middle. You apply MA Rush and make the prediction whether price will go towards resistance if it's bullish or towards support if it's bearish. All right. So, but we would not enter at this point yet, because oftentimes it is not smart to enter the current prices. Instead, we would like to wait. If I can find my drawing tools here, we could wait. My area, where are we? We should wait until the price retraces perhaps a bit further, going further downwards. And we do this on purpose. You know what? Trading is all about calculated risk. And by waiting for a retracement, which is not unlikely, seeing that price has been retracing quite a bit, so it may retrace even a bit further before going further high, we do two things. First of all, we improve our entry price. And most importantly, we also improve our risk-reward ratio. We're waiting for this retracement. Once price approaches this level, we will then enter in the direction of our momentum indicator with our target somewhere near the resistance zone up here and our stop near the support zone down here. All right. Now, let me quickly go back to my slides. All right, so what did we see so far? Well, we saw our liquidity IQ indicator applied to the chart. And one thing that is very important about liquidity IQ, which perhaps is a bit different from the indicators that you may be used to, is this indicator will annotate the chart for you and therefore allow you to find your own trade setups constantly. You don't have to wait for a buy or sell signal. You can just simply analyze of what the indicator is currently showing you on the chart. And pretty much for every setup that you find, for every annotation that you find, you can make an educated guess about what's going to happen next and can formulate trades around that. And this is one of the power of liquidity IQ, because you don't have to wait around for an entry signal. Let's say you can simply, take the annotations of the chart into account and then come up with a thesis of what price will do next and formulate a trade around that. All right, so it's the online charting assistant. And in our training sessions for our community members, we actually came up with a whole bunch of trades that can be done with Liquidity IQ, such as the magnet zone trade, where price is smack down the middle, and we simply, in quotes, will predict where price is going to go next. We also have the bounce trade, where price approaches a level, either support or either resistance or support, and we are predicting a bounce off that level. Like here, price approached this level, and we predict a bounce if certain conditions come along. We had in case of 6E, we had the breakout retrace trade, or 6B. Look at this. Breakout, we retrace, and then enter in the same direction. Another trade that we could do. So there's so many things how this indicator can be used for day trading. All right. Now, let me move on and perhaps show you one thing where NinjaTrader really stands out when it comes to using Liquidity IQ. So back to my NinjaTrader, and in this case, I will open up the market analyzer. And if you're familiar with NinjaTrader, you know that the market analyzer can be used to scan for setups. So here are a couple of sample scans which I have defined for you. So this is all for the futures contracts in NinjaTrader, which are predefined. And I set up 3 custom columns. One custom columns to pick up symbols. It's all for the 5-minute time frame in this case, to pick up symbols where price is currently entrapped between support and resistance. We have another custom columns which will say yes if we currently have a zone breakout at the current bar. Price has broken a zone right there, which are quite rare, to the zone break through support and a zone break through resistance. All right, so let me show you how this works. So I'm going to put the market analyzer here, and I will open up my chart one more time. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to symbol link my chart with the scanner. And once this is done, and just quickly go to this symbol here. Once this is done, and so I'm going to symbol link it again. Actually, sorry, 1 second, guys. There we go. Okay, now it's symbol linked. Now, and I click on a symbol in my scanner. Guess what happens? It will then load that symbol automatically onto the price chart. So this is CL. It's loading. And once loaded, we can see that price will be entrapped in between support and resistance, as we had expected. All right. Let me just quickly see if the indicator is set up the right way. Give me 1 second. Going back to my settings, because I had clicked around. Yeah, I'm going to put this to the 30 minutes as before. All right. So it's entrapped, as we expected from the setup. If I click on YM, the Dow futures, I click on it, and we can see the price is entrapped, once again, if you look at this, between support and resistance. And I could do this for all these scan results here, which, will pick up those symbols where price is in between. We could do the same thing when price is broken out of a level to see, Simply if you have recently broken above resistance or broken below support. And this is really where NinjaTrader excels. You have the scanner, which does all the heavy lifting for you. So you don't have to constantly swap through the charts to find setups. NinjaTrader will do it all for you. And you can even set alerts when NinjaTrader will notify you when such a zone break happens. All right, so let me go back to my charts and remind you of one thing. So you've already seen our MA rush indicator, which I have used to determine where momentum is pointing to. And as it turns out, this is the ideal companion for Liquidity IQ, because many of the trade setups that you can spot with Liquidity IQ, they can be further strengthened if you combine it with the momentum reading of MA rush. The indicator is it's sophisticated in itself as it also performs a multi-time frame analysis. It considers multiple time frames, the higher time frames, to come up with these momentum readings, either bearish or bullish, and displays those onto the chart. And you can use these as an additional filter for the trade setups that you come up with Liquidity IQ. All right. Now, and as it turns out, by using both together, we call this the dynamic duo, you can really further strengthen your trading game, because once applied to the chart, these two indicators will do most of the work for you. Basically all the tedious work, finding those resistance levels, finding these support levels, finding where zone breaks are happening, finding where momentum is pointing to, is it bullish or bearish. Something that you would need to do manually is now done for you by those indicators. Now, let me just say one thing. Is every trade going to be a winner when you use these two indicators? Of course not. There's no such strategy. But at least now you will be equipped with two sophisticated indicators, which are based on multi-time frame analysis to determine these important support and resistance levels. Yeah. You will take into account trend and momentum by using MA rush. You can formulate trades around those levels that you see. And most importantly, in trading, staying in the trading game is mostly not about how much you can win, but how you manage your risk. And with these levels, support and resistance, you finally can manage your risk in a smarter way, in some sense, by placing your stop losses where there are important levels to be considered, either at important support levels or important resistance levels to the upside. All right. Now, and you know what? These indicators can be used by anyone, regardless of what your trading experience is. Because even if mentor mode is switched on, even sophisticated players or traders will be able to use these levels, because it's just a matter of doing the heavy lifting, the tedious work for you, so you don't have to. So you can save your mental energy on making the final trading decision, which is the most important one. All right. So guys, as a special thank you for being here today, we have put together a package so that you can take advantage of these two indicators. We call this the Liquidity IQ Super Package. And everything that's offered is going to be offered for life. So lifetime access, there won't be any follow-up payments needed. And this is what this package includes. You will get our Liquidity IQ indicator, which by itself retails at $9.97. But we're going to supplement this indicator with 6 bonus offers. First of all, you're going to get our MA rush indicator, which by itself is $2.97. You will also be invited to our next live trading workshop, which takes place next Tuesday, February 20th at 9 a.m. We're going to trade the market open with live money, with real money, our own money. We're going to show you how we use Liquidity IQ and MA rush to find day trading setups. So we're going to trade the market open from 9 a.m. to 10:30. And you will be invited to this exclusive session. You will also be invited to our weekly members-only session, which we have every Tuesday at noon Eastern time, where you can ask questions. We're going to show you tips and tricks, and where we're going to do live market analysis. A great venue for you to get some feedback and get all your questions answered and to learn. And these are offered every week on Tuesdays. If you can't make it, of course, they're all recorded as well. We're also going to throw in an ebook on how to use MA Rush, along with 2 video guides on magnet zone trading and dynamic duo trading. So all this is offered for life. And if you want to take advantage of this, simply go to tradingindicators.com/zone. So zone like liquidity zones. So tradingindicators.com/zone. All right. So before I expand a little bit on this package, I'm going to see if there are any requests for symbols. Oh, that's a good question, actually. So Michael wants to know, can this be applied to Renko chart? And I forgot to mention this earlier. The answer is absolutely yes. So here, I've used linear charts to apply the indicator on, but it can also be applied to, in this case, to a range chart or Renko charts or tick bar charts, no problem. So here we have it on the 20 range chart, Liquidity IQ, which just had this beautiful zone breakout. You can see it here. Price went up, and now this resistance zone may become support. If price retraces back here, we would have once again our breakout retrace setup where price may be bouncing off from to the upside. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the question is absolutely this indicator can be used on nonlinear charts as well, such as Renko, range, or even tick charts. All right. So guys, please ask some more questions if you want to see some symbols. If you, so while you do this, let me remind you what you're going to get. Of course, you're going to get the lifetime version of Liquidity IQ, which that will be in the package. And we're going to supplement this with our MA Rush indicator, the live trading workshop next Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10:30, our members only trading session, live market sessions, which take place every Tuesday at noon Eastern, and our free ebook and the 2 video guides on magnet zone trading and trading with Liquidity IQ and MA Rush. All right, and of course, there are a limited number of packages available just so that we can limit the number of participants in the workshop to make it a truly personal experience for all of you. And once again, the link is tradingindicators.com/zone. All right, so Patrick is telling me only a few minutes left. And let me just go through some questions real quick. All right, so what do I see here? Somebody's asking if I already have purchased Liquidity IQ, is there a discount for the package? Yes, Vincent, yeah, please simply email me and we'll work something out, no problem. So or if you already have Liquidity IQ, we can work something out. Perfect. Does the indicator work on the 1 minute time frame? Oh yes, absolutely. It works great on the 1 hour. We typically use it on the 5 minute for day trading, but there's no it works on the 1 minute time frame. It works on the 1 hour. It works on all time frames pretty much. What about risk management and stop losses? So the beauty about Liquidity IQ, let me just quickly go back to the chart. I know Patrick wants to take over, is that the indicator, the levels that the indicator prints are naturally made for placing your stop loss. Imagine here, you are in a zone break trade. You decide to go long when the zone is breaking. Where would you put your stop if the trade doesn't go in your direction? Well, you would place it right below the zone. Because if that zone, if price retraces and goes below that zone again, that was a false breakout. It's right here. And this is based on a real level instead of an artificial number or made up number, like 20 ticks or 30 ticks. You're actually placing your stop based on a true level in the market. All right. Okay, guys. So I know I have to close the session. So if there's any questions, if there are questions which were left out, don't worry. You can simply contact us via our homepage at tradingindicators.com. There's a contact form directly on the homepage. Send us a message. It goes directly to my inbox, and we make sure to reply to all your requests. So if you want to see more charts or want to have more information about the package, by all means, please reach out to us. All right. Great. Can we purchase this tomorrow? Yes, you can wait for tomorrow. There are limited packages available, so don't wait too long, but tomorrow morning should be fine, Daniel, no problem. How long do we get access for the Tuesday meetings? If you purchase this week, you will be invited for Tuesday for sure, for the next Tuesday session, no problem. It will typically take a bit of time to get you fully set up, but if you purchase today or tomorrow, you will definitely be invited for Tuesday's session on time. No problem. All right. Patrick, do you want to take over?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. I very much appreciate it. Thank you to your team as well for helping out in the chat. Um, yeah, great presentation, and thank you for sharing with that with us here today. If you enjoyed today's session, we hope you'll join us for future webinars. Let me just make sure the screen. Okay, we're good there. You can also follow us on social media for alerts about upcoming events and other NinjaTrader ecosystem news. I'm going to post the links I posted earlier into the room as well for you all. We would like to remind you that today's session is that of trading indicators, the information that was provided, and not that of NinjaTrader. All information was for educational purposes and should not be considered as trading advice. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future webinars. Happy trading from all of us here at NinjaTrader.